through my mind, continuing on, because when I stop talking or when I stop sharing, the message still keeps coming. That spirit inspiration doesn't stop. And I don't stop it. I just sit with it and let it soak in, and it pops in and out throughout the day. And I was thinking about a mother's love for a child. And I was just imagining the Special Olympics. There was this amazing Down syndrome kid that worked next to me at an office. He bagged groceries at a grocery store next to where I worked. And he was so happy. And his mom never showed the stress that was incurred by providing a place for him that was just always about love. And that mother experience, you see, because there's a thing that happens when a mother has a child, and the love that they experience at that point is non-judgmental. And it's not about how you see yourself. And I was thinking that as I walked by Gold's Gym and saw all these people posing in the mirror, I'm not opposed to looking good and feeling good and eating healthy. But have we only surrendered to an insecurity based on perception because of the fear of pain that maybe love might just be too much, might be I'm wondering if, and this is a question, it's not a statement, if love for many of us, the reason why it's such a learning lesson is because we view it like, instead of liberating and allowing us to be free, it's conducive with carrying a heavy load. We don't see it consciously from the beginning as a heavy load because lust and other things trigger us into that, allowing our heart to be partially open, but never completely. Even when you have your heart break, even when you're going through pain, there's a part of you that's still saved, right? Because only the aspect that is non-judgmental, only the aspect that isn't based on appearance, which is what a mother has for her child, would be that purity that would be associated with love that's not expecting something in return. Like a mother, when she has that baby, if that baby has no legs, if that baby's dying of cancer, whatever that is, that mother loves that child with such intensity. It is her child. When we see this in nature, we see mama bears, we see lionesses, we see penguins, we see even mice, right, loving their babies. We see, it's so funny when you see like a possum with like 4 possums, or like what we saw with the kangaroos. That liberating experience that love allows that mama to experience, somehow, in some way, I wonder if part of our search for love is that we're trying to replace that carefree, non-judgmental, super special place that we received, or that we might have thought we should have received as a child. And we place that mother-style love in each place that we see love. And we're trying to build something, but we're building a love that is, logistically, it'd be like Colorado versus California. Imagine that California is that mama love, and then Colorado is that relationship love. But because subconsciously you're not connecting the differentiations of it on a emotional platform because of fears and insecurities. So we're trying to bring the ideas that made us feel so full and received in the California mama style love to Colorado, the relationship style love. And because a lot of relationships, when I've helped people, a lot of what's really hurting the relationship, I think, is the expectations that were placed on it, or the inability to communicate your feelings, right? You can communicate your anger, you can communicate your expectations and your disappointments, but when it really comes to communicating your feelings from the get-go, I don't know that we're quick to say, I love you, I love you, I love you. We're quick to say that. But are we but we're not as quick to say as like, I love you, but I love also being independent, and I don't want to place any expectations on you, and I want to grow alongside of you. So we have more open conversations. And I was talking about that and putting the soul back in soulmates, about the level of communication rather than just letting our bodies talk. Because it's so easy to have sex, right? Sex is a sedative when it comes to trying to be seen, right? Because if you can connect in a sexual level, your subconscious knows that you've created a bond that's kind of built instantaneously without the bricks. You created a house, you built a brick foundation, but you didn't use any bricks. You just used the idea of bricks. So a sexual bond that's so immediate is going to offer up some insecurities, because you're not going to be able to share in the building process. And that's why it's really important, I think, that we start maybe realigning how we look at things. And then I wanted to think of it like, imagine that you're right. Imagine that you're giving love out, and you're not allowing yourself to receive love back. It is, definitely. So if you're giving love out on a consistent basis, like you won the lottery, like you're just giving money away, eventually you'll run out. So how do you replenish that love that's inside of you? Because the people that you're giving the love to, you're giving different types of love, but are you replenishing those types that you're giving out? So if I'm giving out a lot of agape love here, but part of me is still not vulnerable to love, so I don't really let those people behind that beautiful veil that's protecting my heart because of whatever insecurities. So I'm giving agape, showing up, and then I burn out. Then I feel overwhelmed, and then I have to pull away, and the people are so used to me giving that style of love, they don't understand, and then it creates a disruption in their the level of love that they're experiencing, and then we have confusion. And then we have this mass confusion happening between us and our agape group, and it creates animosities. When the communication is important, because if you're not communicating with yourself, if I'm giving out a lot of agape love, if I'm giving out a lot of eros love, like if you're giving out a lot of eros love to somebody, or if you're giving out a lot of sex, if you're having sex with a lot of people, what's going to happen is, I'm not judging anybody, but I'm saying that if you're having sex with a lot of people, what you could be creating is a rift, because you're giving, and you're having sex, believing that you're gaining something, but in the sexual experience, if you're having sex with multiple people, you're actually not allowing that to go deeper, because sex without that additional kind of an agape feeling, or that additional intimacy, is not going to return the same information or the same kind of benefit as just having sex, because you're satisfying the physical in a physical fashion, but you're not satisfying the other two parts of you. The emotional part is not going to be completely satisfied, nor is the spiritual part. So you're always going to have that. That's why I say that's why when men are done with sex, they're always wanting to make a sandwich, because they're perceiving this lack or this hunger in a physical fashion, because they approach sex in a physical way. Had they approached it in an intimate, spiritual way, with emotion, maybe that would be different. They wouldn't wake up, they wouldn't like jump up for a sandwich. They'd be rather wanting to snuggle. So just my perception, just my opinions. I would say that in the vein of looking for love, in the vein of offering yourself up for love, if you think of love like currency, right? Imagine that love is let's compare it to currency. Let's compare it to like, okay, I've got 100,000 love bucks in my bank account. If I give out 100,000 love bucks and I'm not replenishing those love bucks, I'm going to be bankrupt. And so you don't want to go bankrupt and then have to build again, and then you have a down period, because that's not good. That's not benefiting you across the board. That's creating scarcity, which creates a sustaining level of fear when it comes to loving friends and family and jobs and things like that. It also tends you to, when you have that scarcity moment and you don't have the love in your life, you cling to addiction and you buy things, or you drown out your sorrows because you need materialism. You go from the love banking account to the regular banking account. So if you think of that $100,000 the 100,000 love bucks that are in your banking account, you, just like you would fiscally plan out your okay, I know my bills, right? I know what I need. I know what I have to eat. I have to have a roof over my head. I have to be able to get to work. So think of getting to work as that I know I need a certain amount of love bucks for my beings at work, because I don't want to show up and I don't want to seem insincere, and I don't want to show up always moody and emotional. So that's where I'm going to add some love bucks in. If I'm going to a family event, that's a tough one, right? You're going to need a lot more love bucks for that, because so many times in our families where we have this kind of a torturous dance, because we say the things that we shouldn't and don't say the things that we should. We really regulate, and this is most families, right? We will say the most horrible, vicious things to put somebody in their place, because we're all about space, because vulnerability is just not on the menu for most of us. So we will say this horrific thing, and then it's just got to disappear like it never happened. It's Thanksgiving now. Everybody sit down. I'm thankful. Are you thankful? Shit, yeah, it's Christmas. How's it going? And this is why there's animosities develop around family events. So as you're thinking about how many love bucks you're going to benefit with this family event, you're going to put a lot of those in there. And a lot of the love bucks are going to be silent investing. You're going to want to show up in a vulnerable state, not just to show up how you're not selling people down the road. You don't want to show up and you're going to punish them for the past, even if it's not going to go the way that you want. Remember, everything that you're doing, you're not just doing for other people, you're doing it for you. And part of you wants to feel love, wants to feel that honor, wants to feel that charitable act, wants to feel that return on investment. And I hate to say investment in love, but I'm just doing it in that fashion. So if you're figuring out that something doesn't benefit you, like a relationship, well, then cut back on your love bucks, right? Cut back on your love bucks. Don't invest as much. But if it's somebody that you're interested in, and it's just a little toward, maybe they're taking space, if you hit it with some vulnerability and they back away, then you know to cut down on the investment of love bucks, right? Vulnerability should be one of the biggest keys and secrets to understanding where a person is in their relationship with you. If you don't have friends or family or a lover that you can experience that beautiful vulnerability with, then you have a non-intimate relationship that's based purely on physical and purely outside of the physical form on materialistic manifestations. And this is not going to be healthy. So you have to figure out, how do I bring this back to where it's going to benefit my entire being? How do I put this in that category? How do I solve this situation? And if you can't, then some of that has to be separate. Sometimes you just got to clear your circle. Sometimes you just got to shake that rug. You got to clear your circle. But the idea is, all of the relationships in your life should be high value, extremely vulnerable, and extremely intimate. Otherwise, why are you doing it, right? And I'm not talking about, you say hi to the person at Starbucks. That is an acquaintance. That is an exercise in just being a balanced being and offering up your kindness and your compassion and being present. However, if it's somebody that's a pseudo friend and you still can have a nice level of vulnerability, and I'm not telling you to go tell all your secrets, your torturous, don't bring your whole entire closet to the dinner and say, hey, I know we've only known each other for like 6 weeks, but I just want to unload. Don't unload. You don't have to unload what's weighing you down or what your worries are to be vulnerable, right? So vulnerability isn't necessarily about you need to share the bullshit of your day. Vulnerability means that you're open and you're aware and you're offering up a sincere conversation and opinion. You're not trying to judge them. It's that motherly style love that you're going to sit with them and you're going to be very positive, because those are those intimate situations where we're feeling down and out, where we have somebody that will send us a piece of information and like oh, here, check this video out. How's it going? Or shake your hand and put your hand on your shoulder, sit with you like a friend at work. Or maybe it's your loved one calls you up, or you're the person you're with and sits with you while you're going through an issue. Because the thing is that everybody, when the celebration's on, everybody shows up. When the party is popping, everybody's present. It's when things are not glamorous, that this is when you know the good people. This is, you know, where you can go. Because vulnerability is going to be its highest state when you really, really understand that you need someone at different aspects of life. So that's all I wanted to say. That's what I wanted to just share. You know, don't go through the love process spending without limitation. You want to save something for yourself in a sense, but what you're saving isn't, you're not saving yourself. You're showing your true self to the people that see you. So don't go showing yourself and trying to develop friendships that are superficial. This is going to burn you out, make you pissed off. It's going to not benefit your entire being. And you're not actually benefiting them either, because it just means if they're in that state, they're not ready yet, right? You guys aren't going to rendezvous yet. You might down the road, but it's not going to happen now. And all it's going to do is create a lot of false expectations on your part, and it's going to put a lot of stress and pressure on somebody that's not equipped to give you that level of love that you're capable of receiving right now. So just a little bit of love talk, just diving in a little deeper. We're all doing it daily. We're all going day by day. Pick your modalities, pick your ideas. Understand that love is not something that's perfected. Love is a direction. That direction is deciding how you want to live your life, how you want to receive things in life. And you dedicate yourself to those things that really want to be in your day, daily, right? And we just have to, sometimes like in a relationship, sometimes you just have to walk away. And it doesn't mean you don't love them. You do. But it just means that you're not seeing eye to eye. That vulnerability is not there. If you don't have the same vision and that vulnerability is not in that vision, if intimacy is not on the table, is it really a relationship? Or is it just, you're sitting next to somebody at the park? I mean, what is it? And that's what we need to start asking ourselves, I think. Deep questions about love. All right, everybody. Have a beautiful, wonderful life, and I will see you soon.